So one of Gary, Indiana's finest has returned with a new one. Now, Gangsta Gibbs is an artist with a very consistent catalog. Some would argue that his 2014 album Pinata with Madlib was one of the best releases of the 2010s, and his projects Bandana and Alfredo were also met with very high praise. Now, this new album, Sold Separately, comes on the heels of Freddie's beef with Benny the Butcher, one that unfortunately stayed in the streets and on social media rather than on wax. But if we were to judge this beef solely based on the social media posts, then I think Freddie would be the clear victor, as his humor and his social media posts were way funnier than Benny's. He definitely killed him with the hairline jokes. But getting right into this new project, Sold Separately, or Triple S, it's his 5th solo studio album. Now, as far as the features, he enlisted Kelly Price, Offset, Moneybagg Yo, Rick Ross, Anderson .Paak, Raekwon, DJ Paul, Pusha T, Music Soul Child, and Scarface. Two of my favorite artists of all time are on this list. That will be Scarface and Raekwon. Now, this thing contains 15 songs lasting approximately 46 minutes. We have a wide range of producers making contributions, but with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. The opener, Couldn't Be Done, has a bright, bold, and glorious gospel sound. I like the bright pianos and soulful chops of Kelly Price's voice, as well as her performance on the hook. As far as soul samples go, I think this is one of the better ones of the year. The sound here just makes me envision driving through either the Windy City or Gary, Indiana on a frigid winter morning. But on this record, Freddie talks about overcoming the odds and how they said he would never make it out of the cold streets of Gary. Track 2, Blackest in the Room, shifts the tone instantly with this luxurious and elevator-like beat from The Alchemist. We do, however, get a beat shift. The first beat feels as if James Bond, Sam Cooke, and the Rat Pack were all at the casino, while the second beat has a punchier head nod and hip-hop feel. Freddie raps hard with chilling bars like "Black forces, so his brain ain't leave a stain on my shoe." He also offers up some pro-black imagery with Blackest in the Room, Fred Hampton. They came and shot it up. Blackest in the Room, Jet Fort, when they hit Gaddafi up. So there was some dope rhyming from Freddie and a flawless instrumental transition. Track 3, Pain and Strife, featuring Offset, is essentially an ode to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Freddie glides effortlessly over this modern day Bone inspired production, and the hook was lifted from their classic single For the Love of Money. So I dug how Freddie used the triplet flow and paid homage to some Midwest vets. But I thought the Offset feature was pretty underwhelming and weak, especially considering that Offset's voice was drenched in auto-tune. I mean, for what? And he didn't even use the same type of flow that Freddie used, which I think would have helped his case. And this is not to trash Offset, but I think this was a weak feature. Following this is Zipper Bags, which contains an atmospheric and cloudy beat from K Tronada. Now, this song was cool for the flow switch ups that Freddie provided, and I dug the very faint Pimp C vocal snippets throughout, but for some reason, this record didn't blow me away. I don't dislike it, however. The next song, Too Much with Moneybagg Yo, was released as a single a while back, and it's a wavy and glossy trap record with a decent DeBarge sample. Although I didn't find this one to be a standout. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Freddie over trap production, as he had a history of doing that before Madlib, but this one might lack the replay value that, let's say, the J. Cole and Moneybagg Yo song Say Nah from a few years ago had, if I could make that comparison. Still, it's a fun enough commercial single that I don't have many issues with. We then get an immaculate transition into Lobster Omelette with Rick Ross. I mean, this beat puts the capital L in luxury rap. It's a gorgeous backdrop fitting for a Ross feature, even though his verses haven't moved me in a while. Gibbs does manage to get gutter over this clean beat with lines like, "Dope in my diaper bag, I serve him while my daughter watching." I mean, that's just the epitome of grimy. I didn't find Rick Ross's verse to be as good as Freddie's, but it wasn't trash. I actually did like his ending lines. Rappers want to play sports, athletes caught in the courts, actors overdosing, addicted to chemicals, boy. Then we have another seamless and epic transition into track 7, Space Rabbit, which has a futuristic and synth heavy beat from Boy Wonder. Here, Freddie gives a shout out to the Memphis legends, 8-Ball and MJG with Space Kane, Space Age Pimp, MJ and Ball and them, 43rd and Main used to cut dope with the Klonopin. I also dug at the end when he stated, address that man as Mr. Kane until they dropped the coffin. I gave him 40 bars of pain like Allen, I cross him. Afterwards is Feel No Pain with Anderson .Paak and Raekwon the Chef. And here we have this striking and elegant instrumental. The harp was a smooth addition to this track. Anderson .Paak not only provides the hook, but he also has a short verse where he gives us this Jid and Kendrick-like vocal inflection. Freddie has a line that was cool, like a high school janitor, I'm carrying them keys. Although, to keep it a buck, ever since I first heard Big L in 1995 say, because Big L be fucking with more keys than a janitor, I haven't been able to really look at the keys and janitor lines quite the same from other artists. But it was Raekwon who had the best verse, in my opinion. I also loved his performance on a Black Thought's Cheat Code, so I am glad that it appears that he is back outside. Track 9, Rabbit Vision, has a very smooth but contemplative beat from Justice League. Here we get some very honest and personal reflection from Freddie, who mentions a lot of shit, it broke my heart, but it fixed my vision. He also admits, sometimes I feel like we so dope just to impress a dude. He might be onto something with that. Then he speaks on the Jeezy situation and how he still has love for them even though they haven't spoken in years. And Freddie acknowledges that he could have talked it out, but nonetheless, it does show some growth and maturity on his part. What follows is PYS, produced by the legendary DJ Paul, who also lends a verse. So here Freddie is paying homage to the Memphis sound with the use of the Kingpin Skinny Pimp sample. Freddie fits this trippy DJ Paul production like a glove, and essentially on this track you are getting a lot of pimping and hoeing talk, and it's what you would expect when bosses from the Midwest and Dirty South link up. Definitely one of the standouts for me. Then there's Dark Hearted, produced by James Blake, who provides Gibbs with a dark, sleek and ethereal instrumental. It's ultra polished production that Freddie pours out his pain over, reminding us that this dirty game left him dark-hearted. And he also incorporates more melodies here. Immediately after is Gold Rings with Pusha T. Now, this being their first collab since Palm Olive back in 2019. Now, Gold Rings has this glistening, lavish, and pristine beat that is really the ideal canvas for these two bosses to paint their drug dealer Picassos. Freddie raps, tattoos, that's some war wounds, loudest dude in the room, you ain't a killer, use a cartoon. Now, he also speaks on how his girl caught a case, then wiped her Instagram clean and changed her number. Damn, shit is cold. While Pusha T has some calculating pimp lines like, so many RNs I done made, waitresses I done saved, the blow drop off for bitches who ain't learned to braid. But yeah, overall, I thought this was a worthy follow-up to their 2019 collab. Track 13 is Grandma Stove featuring Music Soul Child. It has a very classy but somber backdrop where we get 3 introspective verses from Freddie where he's venting and addressing issues near and dear to him. Like when he speaks on being labeled a deadbeat dad by the public, which hurt him since he loves his kids. Then he also mentions, or seems to mention, the Benny beef with, had a deadly beef with some rappers, but that's another chapter. But Music Soul Child closed the record out with some soothing vocals at the end. As a whole, it was a beautiful track. The second to last song was CIA, produced by Madlib, where he laced Freddie with a very suave and dreamlike instrumental that I feel I've heard used somewhat recently, but I can't recall where or who. Freddie spits, I did this album off of pages ripped out my diary, confessions and hard lessons, killers confide in me. He also talks about how youngins do murder for clout, then post it online, not knowing that the CIA gave us crack Instagram, and AIDS. So yeah, this was another solid track that displays their undeniable rapper-producer chemistry. Then the album wraps up with the bonus song Decoded featuring the legendary Brad Jordan, Mr. Scarface. This marks the third time the two have collaborated, and they have yet to miss. And we get a mind-blowing beat from DJ Dahi, that's very next level. And Scarface drops some streetwise jewels on surviving the dope game and how the OGs have failed the youth by not properly instructing them through music. Overall, I give this project a rating of 4 mics. I would describe it as a well-balanced mainstream album that is more commercially ambitious than his recent releases that were more catered to the traditional and underground aesthetic. On this particular record, Freddie experimented a little more with flows, singing, melodies, and he rapped over very crisp, polished, and colorful production, which was a cool change up. His songwriting was a strength here too. Now, some fans hoping for more Madlib or more Alchemist production might not have liked it as much, but I feel this was a pretty cohesive project that had a cool theme that was tied together well enough through the skits. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel, Gibbs was branching out a little bit and having some fun with it. My favorite tracks include Couldn't Be Done, Blackest in the Room, Space Rabbit, Feel No Pain, PYS, Gold Rings, Grandma Stove, and Decoded. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Freddie Gibbs, Soul Sold Separately, 1.